The Manchester Airport assault trial is currently underway and the plot is thickening as testimony from one of the police officers has been made public. And I can only imagine that these two defenders don't want us to know what was said. Well, tough luck. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you an update on the Manchester Airport assault trial, in particular the testimony from PC Lydia Ward, who was a part of that shocking incident from last year. Now, of course, before I jump into it, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and as a disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with PC Lydia Ward's testimony from today. The judge mentioned before she gave any testimony that, yes, they were a little bit late in starting, but I can only imagine the reason for that is that PC Lydia Ward is currently heavily pregnant. And so when PC Lydia Ward starts to give her testimony, she first lays the groundwork in terms of her career. She says that she joined Greater Manchester Police in January 2018. She was a special constable for 2 years at Lancashire Police before she joined the force. She was then assigned to the Wigan Division as a response constable, going to 999 and 101 calls, including arresting suspects on a regular basis. And then from December 2022, she was then moved to Manchester Airport. She had been working at the airport for about 1.5 years by the time the incident came about. She actually worked as an unarmed officer on a team at Manchester Airport alongside armed officers such as PC Marsden and Cook. And so here she goes through the start of the day. She tells the jury that on the night of the incident, she was wearing a police issue uniform, which included body armour, handcuffs, pepper spray, body camera and radio. She says she didn't carry a taser as she wasn't taser trained. As she was working a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift, so a full 12-hour shift, crewed with another unarmed officer in a van with a cage for prisoners in the rear and emergency equipment, such as blue lights. And so at 8:15 p.m., she said she was called to Starbucks in T2, so Terminal 2. As she was informed by a control room, there was a fight ongoing. She said other firearms officers, including PCs Marsden and Cook, were already there on the scene, and that she didn't speak to any civilians at the scene. She said she received information that the suspect had walked off to Terminal 2 pickup zone and that it was a male wearing a blue outfit. Now, she said she received an update from a control room that the male had been spotted on CCTV in the pickup area. And so she was walking to the pickup zone area with PCs Marsden and Cook when she received the update. She said she received further information from PC Marsden that the suspect had headbutted someone and he was being arrested for assault. The officer said that their intention was then to make an arrest, because ultimately, as she's going over to the Terminal 2 pickup area, and she's told before she gets to the scene that, yeah, the suspect has allegedly headbutted someone, then, yeah, the intention turns from trying to subdue the situation to arresting that dude in the first place and, you know, making him allegedly less of a danger than he was at that point. Now, she says that there was a short discussion and that PC Marsden volunteered himself to make the arrest, and then she would then transport the suspect in the van. Now, she says she couldn't recall any conversation about the specific offence the male was to be arrested for, but believed that there was reasonable grounds to arrest the suspect, as officers had received information that he had headbutted someone and walked off, adding it was necessary to arrest him as this male had been violent at an international airport. Well, yeah, we're in different times now. PC Ward said that no plan was discussed as they approached the pay station, as she was with experienced officers who were on the same level of understanding, and so there was no discussion, as in, they've done this dance so many times. That experience that they don't have to discuss a plan. They just know what to do instinctively when they get there. The only thing that they did discuss is that PC Marsden essentially was to arrest the dude, and PC Lydia Ward was then going to transport him. Fair play, right? Now, the officer said that if there was a high-risk offender, there would be a more formal briefing. She agreed on this occasion that the situation was dynamic. In other words, it just all of a sudden come about. Now, she says that it went from 0 to 100. And when you look at, the clips that have been released, yeah, it did go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And so she says that she couldn't recall saying anything to the suspect, Mr. Amaz, or identifying herself to him. She said she didn't believe any of her police colleagues had a chance to say anything to the suspect, saying that it just escalated that quickly, adding that she felt the suspect tensing up and resisted. I could feel his muscles tightening up, she says. Now, pressed further, she says, I don't know how I can describe it other than he was resisting us. It just escalated from there. It went from 0 to 100. Now, asked what she thought the resistance meant, she says it indicated to me that this is a person who's going to start potentially being violent and did not want to be arrested. I didn't want to have that kind of interaction with the police. Asked what the larger male, Mr. Ahmad, was doing at that stage, she says, my attention was drawn to getting Mr. Ahmad secured. So I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. I know something was happening there because PC Cook and PC Marsden have drawn their attention towards Mr. Ahmad, the larger male who's coming over and starting to be serious. She then says, my attention was mainly towards Mr. Ahmad. However, I was aware the larger male had come over and there's some sort of fracas happening between PC Cook and PC Marsden. And him and they were trying to get him away so they could effect the arrest. Then saying, I remember then he just turned and punched me straight in the face. This is shocking testimony. She says she was still trying to keep hold of the one in blue. The officer said the larger male was interfering with us trying to make an arrest and get him away. PC Ward said of Mr. Amaz, I have hold of his arm, trying to keep hold of his arm and trying to keep it behind his back so I could get the handcuffs on him. But then recall PC Marsden being pushed down to the other side by Mr. Ahmad, saying, and the one in blue started booting him, kicking him really hard, and I'm trying to pull him off at this point. Asked to describe the kicking, she said it was really like he was proper raising his leg and laying into him and booting him. I then just tried to grab him off so he could stop PC Marsden. I remember then he just turned and punched me straight in the face. And I believe her turning around and saying, I remember then he just turned and punched me straight in the face. This is the moment she's then talking about. Absolutely freaking shocking. And stay tuned, guys, because in this testimony from PC Lydia Ward, she actually goes through the horrific injuries that she sustained as a result of all of this. And so carrying on, she then says, I just wanted to try and keep a hold of his arm to grab him and pull him off. I was probably in fighting mode at that point. I'm not surprised. Anything I could to get him off PC Marsden as he had been kicking him. I just remember it going black. I remember being punched in the face and falling backwards on the floor and everything going black and coming around. The blow was really forceful. And she then tells the jury, I've never been punched in my life. I've never in my whole time in the police service had someone use that level of violence towards me. I've been assaulted before, but never had that level of violence before. I really fell hard. I just remember thinking he's knocked me out. I hit the floor and everything going black. And her testimony just goes on. She then starts describing her injuries. This is horrific. Blood was pouring out of my nose. She says she recalls getting up and blood pouring out of my nose and blood spots on the floor. She recalled thinking, I've got a bad injury. I was terrified, she says. Honestly, I was terrified. I've never experienced that level of violence towards me in my life. I didn't know who was going to come at me next, who in that crowd was going to try next to swing at me. I was scared of going to the male again and him punching me again in the face. Now, asked what other people in the pay station were doing, PC Ward said she heard shouting and saw people filming on their phones, telling the jury nobody at all came to help or assist. It just felt like everyone in that room was against us. It was honestly terrifying. I was just terrified of them coming near to me because of the hostility I felt from everyone there. She then recalls PC Marsden using his taser gun over Mr. Amaz, and that she drew her pepper spray in case the stun was not effective. She then said she did deploy a pepper spray towards two men who tried to impede the police, saying, "I just didn't know if they were coming for me instead. I was telling them to get back and they weren't listening. I thought they were going to start interfering with my colleagues. I thought we were going to get into further conflict with them. Honestly, I thought I was going to get into conflict with them." She then said that she pressed the emergency red button on a radio to summon more colleagues, saying, "I just wanted our colleagues to get there and help us out." She then later noticed that the battery from her radio had fallen out of her radio during the incident, telling the jury she had realignment surgery on her nose, which was broken during the confrontation. Now, the footage afterwards that was shown at the trial showed that she was crying her eyes out. Jurors were shown body cam footage from PC Gray, which captured the injuries caused to PC Ward. So she wasn't, like, over-exaggerating these injuries. Like, there's evidence that shows what these two, and I have to say, alleged animals have done to her. The footage showed her sobbing uncontrollably with blood coming from her nose and filling her mouth. It shows her being comforted by a colleague who urges her to take deep breaths. Another officer is captured telling her, "You're all right." But that's not the only evidence that captured the injuries from this horrific incident from these, again, I have to say, alleged monsters. But pictures of the injuries were also submitted to the jury as well, outlining a series of agreed facts to the jury, including pictures of the injuries suffered by PC Ward taken on the night. She attended the Royal Preston Hospital, where medics noted bruising to the forehead and a wound to the bridge of her nose. A scan of her head revealed the broken nose. So you've not only got video proof, but medical evidence to support her testimony of the injuries that she sustained. I'm going to have to say, again, allegedly, the hands of these freaking monsters. On 9th of August 2024, she was admitted for surgery and underwent an operation when a broken nose was realigned. The operation went well. She wouldn't have had an operation in the first place if these two alleged monsters didn't freaking kick off in the first place. When you look at those clips, they're absolutely horrific. And I'm just shocked, and I'm stunned. How the hell they think they've got a leg to stand on and say that they're not guilty is beyond me. In my humble opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, right? Let me put it another way. By the time this trial ends and the jury submit their verdict, I will be shocked to the heavens and back if they turn around and say that those animals are not guilty. I'd be freaking shocked indeed. So yeah, no wonder the plot thickens as testimony from PC Lydia Ward has been made public. And I can only imagine that those two alleged animals don't want us to know what was said. Well, freaking tough luck. We now know. We now know what happened to PC Lydia Ward at the hands of those freaking animals. What the hell? Again, my mind's blown. I'm confused as to how they think they've got a leg to stand on. How they think they can plead not guilty in the first place. Because the way I'm seeing it, it's all freaking stacked against them. It really, really is. The clips that we've all seen, the testimony of PC Lydia Ward, the accompanying evidence proving her injuries at the hands of these animals, not only from the body cam, but medical evidence as well. How they can walk into that courtroom every single day and still stand by their not guilty plea is beyond me. But we do live in a country where our legal system is all about innocent until proven guilty. And like I said earlier on, I'd be very, very shocked at the end of all of this if the jury turn round and say not guilty. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and unfortunately there is going to be more given the state of the UK, then do make sure you subscribe to join our Alternate tribe here at Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that ultimately these two are guilty or not? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.